Good morning, Cape Disappointment. Before heading for the Megler Bridge, I decided to stop and take in the view just a little bit from where I was camped of the Cape Disappointment Lighthouse and this beach is called Waikiki Beach. Next, I'm headed for the bridge. Wish me luck. Can't wait to put that anxiety behind me. I can honestly say there's not much time to enjoy the views. Up ahead is the climb. This is the 3 miles of causeway leading out to the main span of the bridge. Here we go, across the span. Needless to say, I made it over the Megler Astoria Bridge, or I guess they call it the Astoria Megler Bridge. And it actually turned into a pretty thrilling ride. I stopped just before entering the bridge at a pullout, and I was very tempted. Actually, I was looking for empty pickup trucks that might be headed across the bridge that I could hitch a ride with, but none showed, so I finally thought, well, just make it happen. And I'm glad that I did. I obviously was very nervous starting out onto the causeway, but it was wider, a little bit wider than what I had thought it might be. And although there were very strong winds gusting over my left shoulder that I was worried might push trucks and RVs around as they crossed the bridge, it didn't seem to be too much of a problem. It was coming quartering from the rear, so it provided me with a little bit of a boost and a tailwind for the 3 miles that I rode on that causeway portion of the bridge before climbing the main span. And I have to admit that main span is a rather intimidating sight up ahead. I mean, suddenly the grade goes from level, it pitches up to about 7%. Definitely granny gear territory. But the one thing that was nice is that there were breaks in the traffic. It seemed like it came in bursts. I don't know if it was because of the light entering the bridge, or because some slower traffic kind of bunched things up and created these breaks in between, but it ended up being a lot less anxious of a crossing that I had anticipated when I had crossed it once before in 1989 coming from the other direction. I'm guessing that there were two things at play. One, I was more blissfully ignorant and just didn't even think about it, and the other, that the traffic may have been lighter coming over. But this morning I think that I did well by coming across at 10 a.m. and after the commuter traffic, but before the tourist traffic started up, and made it to the other side. Texted home to say I'm okay. I headed off for Fort Stevens State Park, where I am right now, in a very nice setting. The hiker-biker site here is well appointed with, it has lockers where you can store your gear, and inside of the lockers are charging stations, outlets with both USB and AC ports. And to look around the site, there's only one of the other bikers here right now, and my neighbor to the right. And I'm told that Oregon is the best of the best in terms of hiker-biker sites. So I can actually, the gentleman next to me said that the further south I go, they get even better than this one here. So I'm looking forward to it. Good morning from the beach near where I spent last night at Fort Stevens State Park. Right now I'm going to go down and just quickly check out this shipwreck on the shore. Guessing that this is the stern of the ship. You can see the line running down the sand where the two other pillars, support posts or whatever they were in the hull, are exposed. So this shipwreck was I want to say 60-70 yards long, this boat. I'll have to read up on when it went aground here. And a few morning visitors here. Good morning. Rolling along a beautiful wide bike lane here on Northwest Ridge Road after leaving the park. Soon I'll get to the junction of 101 and make a right turn, hoping that the shoulders are equally as nice. Back out onto Route 101. So far, traffic is minimal. Morning is definitely the time to travel, and there's a nice wide shoulder here. Riding here along the promenade in Seaside. To my right are the dunes blocking the view of the sea. Hopefully a little bit up ahead I'll be able to catch some views. This is Hug Point State Park. I found out about it from the woman that was seated next to me when I was in Cannon Beach having lunch. And it's a pretty well hidden little nook in the coast here, just south of Cannon Beach, surrounded by the rock that comes down from the bluff where I was riding along the highway, and great place for both the bluffs and the surf. So don't forget to talk to the locals. A lot of great finds that you wouldn't otherwise see. 10 miles to go to camp, 8 miles to the town of Manzanita, where I'll pick up my dinner. I got out of that tunnel none too soon. Even with the flashing lights and everything, it's a bit of an unnerving experience. And of course, the motorists love to give you their friendliest honks. Here at the top of the second climb, definitely the two biggest climbs of the trip so far, coming up out of Cannon Beach. Now I've got just another mile to go to get down to where I provisioned. I think the town's called Manzanita, and then on to Nehalem Beach, or Nehalem Bay, or Nehalem something State Park. So what a day so far. It's definitely a change from Washington. Just did my grocery shopping, cruising through town here, Manzanita. End of day, Wednesday, September 17th. My sister Melanie's birthday. What I'm finding is that it's becoming difficult to remember everything that happened from the beginning of the day. The days are so filled with so much that it seems like many days ago, trying to recall the beginning. I am at Nehalem Bay State Park, and it involved, to get here from Cannon Beach, involved two of the most significant climbs that I've experienced on this trip, mainly because of their length. They were definitely granny gear climbs, but they were long by coastal standards, probably at least a mile or mile and a half per climb. And along one of them there was a quarter-mile long tunnel that is a little sketchy for the bicyclists. They have one of the buttons that you press, and it starts some flashing lights entering the tunnel that say that bicyclists are in the tunnel. I clipped a flashing light to my seat post, turned it on, hit the light, and started into the tunnel. And fortunately, I didn't have any large trucks come through while I was in there. I only got one or two honks from motorists that really don't believe that bicycles should be on the roadway, or at least it shouldn't be anywhere where it's impeding their progress. But once climbing that first climb, it immediately was equally steep of a descent right back down to sea level. And then shortly after starting the next climb, which took me to some really spectacular viewpoints, some overlooks, and some of them I remember from my 1989 trip, but I didn't pass one up. As I was climbing, it was easy to just pull off. The nice thing about going southbound on this route is the ocean's always on your right, and it's you don't have to cross traffic in order to pull over into the pull-off. So actually today was the first time, I think, on this entire trip in 7 days that I've broken a sweat climbing those 2 climbs. The only negative incident of note for the day was knowing that there was a climb ahead. I decided to see how it worked to get into my granny gears in advance of the climb, and I knew that I was in the wrong cog on the rear to try and make that shift, but I went with it anyhow and dropped the chain, and I stopped and was routinely slipping the chain back on, and somehow I managed to get it jammed between the chainstay and the inner chain ring on my front. It jammed pretty badly. I wasn't going to tug and force anything out and break anything, so I pulled out the toolkit and removed that right side crank to extract the chain, and was on my way. But it was just a reminder of the importance of having all the tools needed and riding a bike that's fully field maintainable. Otherwise it's, you know, I suppose folks are on their cell phone calling a bike shop and, you know, maybe an Uber or something to get them to the bike shop. But for me, I prefer to just do the maintenance, do the fixing right there on the side of the road. So I laid my bike on its side and pulled the crank off, extracted the chain, refitted the crank, and off up the hill I went. For the beer selection for tonight, I chose a local beer, sort of local, over in Eugene. It's called Megalodom Triple IPA by Ninkasi is the brewer. 10% alcohol, so I better stop recording here before my tongue starts to mess up, and say goodnight. See you tomorrow.
I love it, 'cause I know it. I love it, yeah.
This morning I'm headed for the place where the cheese in my dinner last night was made, the town of Tillamook, famous for its cheese at the cooperative dairy production plant there. I might even stop and take a look inside. The town of Wheeler, liquor, beer, wine, smokes seems to be a popular theme at a number of the stores I've passed.
No one else around her. Don't mean me to fly.
I just passed the 2 little bergs of Manhattan Beach and Rockaway Beach. You suppose some New York transplant was responsible for those names? If there's a tsunami today, I guess I know the evacuation route.
I love it if you want me, then you get the stars. 'Cause I know if you want me. I love it, yeah. If you want me, then you get the stars. 'Cause I know it, yeah. If you want me.
Tourist traffic definitely seems to pick up at around 10 o'clock in the morning when folks are finally up and getting underway, rushing to the next campsite. So it seems that getting riding by 7:30, and you have kind of a window from 7:30 until 10 o'clock in the morning where traffic is relatively light, but still have beautiful wide shoulders, which really makes the traffic mostly a non-issue. Just keep an eye in the rear view and enjoy the scenery to the right. There's some cows whose milk probably ends up in the Tillamook cheese. I just passed through the town of Tillamook. Nice bike lane through, but a little busy. I was looking forward to getting out on the road to, it's called Bay Ocean Road. Take me up to the Cape Mears Lighthouse. And I stopped in a hardware store and asked and was told that the road is in fact open up to the lighthouse. Well, despite what the gentleman told me at the hardware store, I got to the turnoff to Bay Ocean Road, and there was a sign that said closed 3.3 miles ahead. I turned anyhow and figured at least there might be a roadway that I could walk through in the area of the slides, but underneath the sign that said road closed, there was another one that said bicycles and pedestrians prohibited. So I decided to take the alternate, and I'll see when I get to Natarts whether I feel like making the climb up to the lighthouse. I really want to get up there. I think I'll give it my best. Another great stop at a local bar and grill. Seems that nachos have become a favorite of this ride. After a nice lunch at the upstairs bar and grill and chatting with the folks inside, I changed plans and decided not to head up to the lighthouse. Apparently there's gravel trucks that are working on the road that are traversing that route, and I really don't want to mix it up with them, so I'm headed for Cape Lookout. Quite a bank of sea fog building again offshore. Almost looks like the fog is reaching inland to the point where I'll be headed to camp here. But a beautiful day, and this road here along the Cape is a nice break from Route 101. Here we are, home for the night, Cape Lookout. Next right. Hey there. Looking for a hiker biker site?
For 1 night?
For 1 night, yes. Now, what is the policy as far as, if I run into a rain day, are 2 days allowed, or?
2 days are allowed, that's the maximum.
Okay, yep, that's good.
All right. Alright, that'll be $10. Thank you. I'll trade you, just keep that on the biker tent where we can see it when we're doing our patrols.
I'm in camp Thursday, September 17th. Behind the camera, not far away, is the ocean. From my table I can see the breakers through the trees. It's interesting how once you eventually get into the rhythm of a long distance bike tour, one day just blends into another, and the same routines but passing through different places. I find that I'm able to pretty much tune out what's going on in the rest of the world. I have to say I haven't paid any attention to news or doom scrolling or all of that while out here riding. It's just a routine of ride my bike, look at cool places, stop and take photos, video, write in my journal, maybe stop at a local establishment for refreshments along the way, and then provision up, roll into camp and set up and write in the journal, tuck myself into the tent, wake up in the middle of the night, do a little research about the coming day, and then get up and do it all over again. This is life as I know it. Everything else is gone. I'll see you tomorrow. I just left Cape Lookout State Park, immediately into 8% grade here, so settling in for a 3-mile climb. And down in that break in the fog bank below is where I just left camp. And a little over 2 miles into the climb, the grade has gotten a little bit easier. Still probably 7%, but I think that there's only been one car in my direction for these past 2 miles. And around and up we go. And there we have it, 3.3 miles, exactly as anticipated. Now for the descent. Just like that, we're about back down to sea level. Off to my left here, some dunes. I'm not sure what the geologic formation was about. Another input to Tillamook cheese, perhaps. Coming into Pacific City in the morning fog. Looks like a section of roadway that must have washed out. Gives me a little bit of a break waiting for the light to look out through the fog. There's fog. route is now off the busy 101. This is actually the old 101 highway. It's called Slab Creek Road now. The second of the day's two big climbs is just ahead. This one a little bit longer, similar altitude gain, but instead of a 3-mile climb, this one's a 5-mile climb. So should be nice. No traffic on the road, just a quiet 2-lane highway. Clear cuts to my left. Creek, I'm guessing it must be Slab Creek to my right. Let's see what the climb is like. What an incredible thing this Slab Creek Road is. This is what touring bicyclists look for. Nice, steady, not too terrible of a grade climb. Absolutely no traffic. Just lovely. Trees are getting bigger. Could this be the crest? A beautiful national forest. This morning, I'm standing here a few miles from where I camped last night, just on the southern outskirts of Lincoln City. I didn't get any video or pictures from last night's camp because, well, it was different than any other camp that I've been in so far on this trip. It was sketchy, dodgy, whatever you want to use as a word to describe it. It was a state park campground called Devil's Lake State Recreation Area, which is essentially right in the middle of downtown Lincoln City. And that proximity to the city center tends to bring a different element to the camp. When I got there, I was the only bicyclist in camp. There were a few other tents that at the moment were vacant. Eventually their occupants came back, and one of them, a rather sketchy looking character, came wandering by my table, and first thing he said was, so what's your story? And I played the dumb one, and I said, well, what do you mean? And he went on to ask, well, where are you coming from? Where are you going? I told him, and then asked the same question of him, and apparently he had just drifted over to the coast out of Portland and didn't know where he was going next. It seemed like he was going to stay there in the hiker-biker area in Devil's Lake State Park until he got tossed out. Lots of interesting behavior that made me a little nervous. Then in the middle of the night, one of the others off to the other side returned to his camp, and I heard some strange activity out at the picnic table, and it seems he was I believe he was lighting up or cooking and doing some kind of something. I don't know if it was crack or what, but he was getting high over at the table about 20 feet away, which made me nervous. I didn't get the best night's sleep this morning. I was awake at 4 a.m. when that same fellow was out making himself some breakfast, and then cooking whatever in his pipe again. And so I packed up in the dark and ate my breakfast, and I didn't even want to use the portalet there at the hiker biker site. So in the darkness, I wheeled on down to the main part of the campground and used the restroom there and waited till first light. And now I'm on my way out of town. Let's see what we can find down the road. Should be a nice day on the way down the coast, headed for the town of Newport and then South Beach, south of that. And a little bit of rain tonight, but hey, I need a little, perhaps a day off, a little bit of rest. So see you down the road.
Qu'est-ce que je vais te nommer? Je vais te nommer l'amour, l'amour tendre, l'amour qui chante doucement dans mon cœur, l'amour qui danse lentement dans mon cœur, sans logique à la raison. L'amour et moi, nous sommes un. Nous sommes un.
Sometimes you just spy these little nooks as you're riding down the busy 101 highway, and just compels me to stop and have a look, take a picture, enjoy the moment off the bike. This morning's view is softened by the fog, which almost feels like a light rain. It sure looks a whole lot different than in 1989. A lot more cars, a lot more people. Got to take advantage of the scenic pullouts. I'm the only one here. Another of those little gems here. I was pulling over into a view area and I saw a sign that said Oregon Coast Bikeway. And although it may only be a few miles long, what a nice break from 101. It was only a few miles, but wow, what a nice diversion coming back to 101 here. Continue on down to Newport. Enjoying it in the fog, but I'm sure it's a spectacular view out on the ocean when the skies are clear. I guess I hadn't paid enough attention to the map today to know that I'd be crossing this bridge just south of Newport. It was another shoulderless bridge, but the traffic was very polite and all held up for me and waited for me to get across. Good evening. Today is Saturday, September 20th. I have totally lost track. Let's see if this will help me remember. I'm sitting at my campsite here at South Beach State Park, which is just south of Newport. So glad to have Lincoln City in the rear view. It's definitely a different tour than what I did in '89 in terms of the environment. 101, I don't remember it being like this at all. It's amazing that here in the Pacific Northwest, where gasoline goes for $5 a gallon, that doesn't seem to slow them down. It doesn't seem to have resulted in smaller vehicles. With that, I will turn back to happier thoughts and write up my journal for the day and sip a beer, eat dinner, tuck in for the rain, and see what tomorrow brings. So I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning. Today is September 21st, Sunday morning, and as expected, we got a little bit of rain last night. I was expecting that I was going to lie in for a bit in the morning, which I did. It's now about 20 minutes till noon. Things are pretty gray right now, but I don't think it's going to amount to much. But I decided to just pause my exit since I'm in no rush today with only 17 miles to go. So I'm sitting under a little shelter here in the hiker-biker camp. Behind me are the lockers and charging stations that I've come to rely on here along my route, and I'll give it a few minutes to hopefully show me some blue again. Scattered showers continued after I got underway, so I might pause for a little bit here on my way down the coast. Bits and pieces of blue sky popping through, but clouds then roll in and fill it up. So actually quite beautiful with the clouds kind of dancing in and out of the hills to the east. How can you not stop at a place called Seal Rocks? This is totally the kind of place that would be missed from an automobile. It was not even visible as I rode along. It was just out of my right eye, the corner of the eye, as I passed the end of a guardrail. I saw a path headed down here to the rocks, and stopped, backed up, parked my bike, and I'm the only one here. Every corner I go around, there's another incredible view. So I haven't been traveling very fast. I've been just kind of hopping from viewpoint to viewpoint. Coming up on another bridge here. This one, I think, is just outside of Waldport. Plenty of shoulder though, new bridge. Plenty of accommodation and 4 lanes across. And for the moment, virtually no traffic. when I came in here, I was hoping for maybe a restroom or something where I could step into and get off the clothes that were on my body. There's none here, so I ended up just going over behind the washing machines and being very discreet and dropping my shorts, putting another pair on so that I could get the bike shorts in the laundry. It seemed to have gone unnoticed, but it could have taken a different turn. Getting things cleaned up, I probably will have to do laundry at least one more time along the trip, but for now, Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock is laundry time, and then it's off to find maybe a cup of coffee, a bite to eat, and then on to camp at beachside, which I'm really looking forward to. From there, rode the 3.5 miles here to my campsite at Beachside State Park, and what a gem. It's so much smaller than some of the parks I've been to on the coast, which is absolutely wonderful. And the hiker-biker sites, actually all the campsites are located within a minute or two walk from the beach. From my site to the beach, although I'm sitting here in a heavy, thick forest overgrowth, in about 20 feet, you're right on the beach. I mean, it's literally 3 seconds from where I'm sitting at this table to the beach. And I'm looking forward to another short day tomorrow. Headed down to Washburn State Park, another 16, 17 mile ride, so I'll be in no rush to get out of here in the morning. One of the things that I've been noting is that the further I get from the influence of Portland, the nicer it gets in terms of traffic volumes. I was asking the gentleman at the booth when I came in tonight about it, and he said that Newport represents kind of a boundary for people out of Portland. I'm looking forward to a little bit quieter rides and just continued amazing scenery. So tonight I've got another heat and eat Indian meal that I'll be pouring over rice here in moments. I will see you tomorrow.